Should you shop at traditional markets or supermarkets in Vietnam? Join me as we explore and learn more about the current state of food safety in our country. Hello, I'm Anne, a housewife in Hanoi. Today is the full moon of the 6th lunar month. According to the lunar calendar, we will buy fruits and flowers to offer to our ancestors on the 1st and 15th of every month. My husband is the youngest son in his family, so we don't have an ancestral altar at home. That responsibility falls to the eldest son, and we only have a small altar for worshiping the deities. It is precisely because of this that there is a clear preference for sons over daughters in Vietnamese society. Many families believe that without a son, there will be no one to light incense and pay respects to the ancestors, while daughters, once married off, will have to perform these rituals for their in-laws' family. Currently, Vietnam is facing a rather serious gender imbalance: 111.4 boys for every 100 girls born, and authorities are struggling to devise measures to restore gender balance. Many foreigners living in Vietnam wonder whether they should buy pork at the market or at the supermarket. To be honest, even Vietnamese people are split into two camps: those who prefer traditional markets and those who prefer supermarkets. Personally, I usually go to the supermarket to buy pork and factory farm chicken, and I go to the market to buy beef, shrimp, fish, vegetables, and fruits. If you wake up really early in Vietnam and go out on the streets, around 4 or 5 a.m., you might come across scenes like these. Yes, motorcycles are transporting pork from the slaughterhouse to the pork stalls in traditional markets, completely uncovered. The pork is spread out, exposed to all the dust and vehicle exhaust, and sometimes the pig's hooves even touch the road. Not only that, but Vietnam has a tropical climate. Summer is scorching hot. Slaughterhouses begin operating at the crack of dawn at 3 a.m. Pigs are transported and put up for sale at the early morning market as early as 5 a.m. If you wake up late and don't go out to buy meat until around 8 a.m., that meat has already been exposed to the environment for 4 to 5 hours. Just imagine leaving raw food in a hot, humid environment for that long, exposed to smoke, dust, and bacteria. Would it still meet food safety standards? That's why older Vietnamese women often get up very early to go to the market while it's still cool out, bring the meat home, and either cook it right away or put it in the refrigerator. And when you bring meat home, remember to wash it thoroughly with salt and blanch the meat and bones before cooking. So you might think, well, I'll just buy meat from the supermarket to be on the safe side. But no, my friends, meat from the supermarket isn't necessarily safe either. In late May 2025, Vietnam was rocked by a scandal involving a former employee who accused what was then Vietnam's leading organic food company. The company specialized in supplying pork, chicken, and sausages to all supermarkets large and small across Vietnam. The former employee took photos and recorded videos accusing the company of intentionally retaining diseased pork to grind into sausage, and in some cases, smuggling that meat out to traditional markets. At this time, a wave of outrage swept through the Vietnamese public as the company was a major player and had been trusted by many people. This time, everyone was shocked by the revelation and demanded a boycott of the company. So what happened next? The authorities raided the pig slaughterhouse a few days later, after the company had had enough time to cover up all traces, and, of course, found no evidence. The company wasn't charged, and now it's still supplying meat to supermarket chains as usual, folks. Earlier this year, an even more shocking incident came to light. 300 tons of pigs infected with African swine fever were transported from neighboring provinces to Hanoi with the complicity of a number of quarantine officials. What is most shocking is that, in addition to being smuggled into traditional markets, the majority of these pigs were actually sent to kitchens that prepare meals for elementary and middle schools in Hanoi. Yes, they've lost all sense of conscience to the point of poisoning the very students who are our children. I'm truly speechless upon hearing this news. There are simply no words left to say. Personally, I still prefer to buy it at the supermarket because the storage conditions are better, even though pork prices there are about 15 to 20% higher than at the market. That's about pork. What about other foods? When it comes to chicken, I prefer to buy it at the supermarket. The factory farm chicken at the supermarket is tender and fatty, making it perfect for grilling or pan frying. The storage conditions are also quite good. And the best part is that I don't have to cut it up myself. I'm really terrible at cutting up chicken. But during holidays or simply when I want to eat boiled or stir-fried chicken, I'll go to the market and buy a live, free-range chicken. I'll ask them to butcher and pluck it for me. So I'll end up with boiled or stir-fried chicken made from free-range chicken that's firm and chewy with a rich, sweet flavor. Next is beef. Beef in Vietnam is lean and low in fat, so it's tough. Very different from beef from Australia, the US, South Korea, or Japan. It's really hard to cook a steak that's perfectly medium rare using Vietnamese beef. That's why we usually stir-fry or braise beef. I'm not sure why, but I've bought beef at the supermarket many times, and not once has it turned out tender and delicious when stir-fried. It's actually tough as nails. But when I buy beef at the market, it turns out quite tender when stir-fried. And it's cheaper than at the supermarket too, about $10 per kilo. That's why I usually buy beef at the market. The shrimp, crabs, and fish at the market are always fresh and much cheaper than at the supermarket. Look here, the shrimp are still jumping around, unlike the packaged shrimp at the supermarket. As for fish, you can pick out a live one and buy just a portion of the body. At the supermarket, you have to buy pre-cut fish or buy a whole fish that's still swimming. That's why I prefer to buy shrimp and fish at the market. What about vegetables? Vegetables at the supermarket aren't as fresh as those at the market and are about 20-25% more expensive than vegetables at traditional markets. However, vegetables at the supermarket carry the VietGAP label, meaning they're grown and harvested in accordance with VietGAP standards and are subject to stricter controls and inspections. Vegetables at the market are fresh and green, but they're heavily sprayed with pesticides and growth enhancers and harvested too soon after being sprayed, so they aren't very safe either. If you buy vegetables from the market, remember to wash them thoroughly several times under running water and cook them well to remove all the chemicals. When it comes to fruit, I choose to buy it at the supermarket near my house. That's because the fruit vendors in my neighborhood charge a lot more on the 15th and 1st of the lunar month, while prices at the supermarket are stable and there's a wider variety of fruit to choose from. As you can see, I'm a native Vietnamese, but it seems I've started choosing to shop at supermarkets more often. Partly because it's convenient to buy everything at once, store it in the fridge, and use it over a few days, and partly because of concerns about food safety. That's precisely why people are worried that traditional markets are becoming less and less appealing to young people and will gradually shrink. After all, traditional markets are a beautiful part of Vietnamese culture that we need to preserve, right? That's why I hope the government will take even stronger measures to help traditional markets ensure safer food sources and attract more people. So that's a local's perspective on food safety in Vietnam. Are there any places like ours? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thank you, and see you in the next videos. Bye-bye.